Welcome to another episode of Conversations Matter with me, Heather Criswell. I'm coming to you a little bit late tonight because it is Father's Day, so I'm hoping all the dads out there had a great Father's Day. And for all the moms that are pulling double duty, I wish you a happy Father's Day too and hope that you celebrated for yourself as well. So this episode of Conversations Matter is all about the conversations that we have with other people and how they trigger conversations for ourselves. So I had a client the other day, and he's a new client, and we were in great synergy together. We were doing some business strategy sessions for him, getting his business launched and ready and out there in the world. It's a beautiful business. And one of his friends came in and gave their 2 cents on the strategies we were talking about and the suggestions that I was making and the things that we were planning. And I just had a moment where I had to sit and ask myself, what am I wanting here? And what I was wanting was to give my client full attention and to give them the best strategies that I know to help him succeed. And so I literally ignored the other person and kept bringing the conversation back to him. And I could tell that the other guy was very upset and frustrated and angry. And when I say before, I actually just went through a pretty life-changing event, and at some point in time I'll share it with you. It's too much to share now, but it was a significant event that made me start questioning all of this and where Conversations Matter was born. And so I asked myself in that moment, am I going to please him, or am I going to work with my client that is actually paying me for my services, and I'm going to give 100% to that client? Am I going to worry about if he doesn't like me, or he thinks that I'm rude, or he thinks whatever? And I had to literally set it down and focus back in on my client. But I will tell you, as soon as I left, I was questioning myself. Oh my gosh, that was so rude. Like, I shouldn't have been so rude. And especially coming from the South, we are not rude. We are people pleasers. We are kind and considerate. And it's certainly, my whole world has been about rooting for love and seeing the greatness in each other and loving each other. And yet there was a moment where I realized that this guy was not rooting for either one of us. He wanted to be right, and he wasn't invited into the conversation, and I need to be clear about that. And so I've been doubting myself and going back and forth. And then I finally said to myself today, you know what? I am not the same person I used to be. And I used to hate thinking that, because I was like, oh my gosh, that's not like me. Like, I'm a nice person. Everybody loves me. Like, I don't want to hurt people's feelings. I never want people to misunderstand me. All of these things. And what I realized is that's not my responsibility. My responsibility was show up for my client and to do my work for that client. And that was my responsibility, and that's what I did. And so I had to have that little talk with myself today. I'm not here to please the other person. I'm here to work with my client. And that's been a really hard change for me. But I will tell you, after this big life-changing event, I have realized that I need to do what's best for me, and it becomes a win-win-win for everybody else. But the minute I put somebody else's needs beyond mine, or assume things that I'm not quite sure is even happening, it really destroys me. And I internalize it, and then that's what causes me grief, pain, sadness, depression, physical ailments, you name it. Then today we went to see Secret Pets, The Life of Secret Pets 2. And at the very end, it was talking about how this dog was going through the changes of his young human that was born, and that change was actually good. And you can either run from it or you can run into it, but change is going to happen. And I had this moment where I was like, you know what? I am not the same girl I used to be. I have grown, and change indicates growth. And I have grown. And so I gave myself a little pep talk. I was glad that universe gave me the sign through Secret Life of Pets that I am on the right path and that change is good. And I'm also glad that I had a moment where I could check in with myself and prove to myself that I can honor myself and honor other people at the same time, which has been a real challenge for me. So change is good. And I am running into it instead of running away from it. And instead of being in fear of, oh my gosh, I'm just not that girl. You know what? I'm a different girl now, and I'm glad, because the life-changing event that happened with me, I'd rather avoid it next time. I'd rather put myself in alignment with the world and myself and be the best shining light that I can be on this planet. So what I got out of it was really, change is good, and I'm running into it. And I hope that those conversations take place with you, that you can see that running into the change may actually be the best thing that we could possibly do. So here's to all the change in the world, and boy, do we know change is happening right now. So here's to all the change, and may we run in it with excitement and joy and courage and strength, because I am rooting for you. I am rooting for you and your change, and I know that you're rooting for me. I love you all so much, and remember, conversations matter, especially with ourselves. Conversations matter, and when they're rooted in love, it changes everything. I hope you guys have a great night, and again, happy Father's Day to all those mamas and daddies that are fathers out there. Mwah. Bye.